Tobias Young went from managing gyms 16 hours a day to building a seven-figure online coaching empire, then discovered podcasting could accelerate it even faster. In this episode of Podcasting Secrets, he breaks down his appointment setter strategy that converts podcast viewers into paying clients without manual outreach, reveals why collaboration posts multiply your reach overnight, and shares the 9-step framework that's helped hundreds of coaches scale past six figures. If you're treating your podcast like content instead of a conversation machine, this conversation will flip your entire strategy. Welcome to the Podcasting Secrets Show, where successful creators share their best stories, secrets, and strategies. I'm your host, Nathan Gwilliam. Hello, incurable creators, and welcome to this episode of the Podcasting Secrets Show. Today, I'm joined by Tobias Young. Tobias is a former professional bodybuilder. He's been on the cover of different bodybuilding magazines 7 different times. He's the CEO of TNT Fit Pro Coaching. He's the author of the Online Success Blueprint. He's the host of the Fit Biz Accelerator podcast and the creator of Fit Pro Solutions. He's built a CRM specifically for fitness coaches. He has more than 26 years of experience in the industry and 16 years in online coaching. Tobias has helped countless coaches scale to 6- and 7-figure businesses using proven systems and not hype. Thank you so much for being with us today, Tobias.
Thanks, Nathan. Great to be here, man.
Hey, can you start off by sharing with us something that most people don't know about you?
Yeah, well, most people don't know. I would say, hey, that I'm half Puerto Rican. I look,
Oh, that's cool.
I know it's kind of off, in there, but yeah, I'm half Puerto Rican. I grew up without a father, so I was raised by my mother on the white side, and I met my father when I was 15 years old. I remember seeing him for the very first time and going in there. So that was a big inspiration for me, and why I got started into working out was growing up without a dad. And we'll touch up on that later in this podcast, and kind of what drove me to get into working out and getting into this wonderful fitness industry.
Well, let's go right into that. What got you started as a bodybuilder and working out?
All right. Yeah. So this is going to date me a little bit. Okay, Nathan. So back in the day, I'm 50 now. So this is when I was younger, but back in the day, I used to watch the TV show, The Incredible Hulk. This is with Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah,
okay?
That was a great show.
Remember that show? Yes. And so it was just me and my mom growing up. She was, working.
Did you have a black and white TV when you were watching that?
Oh yeah, I did. I had a black and white where the turn dial.
Sometimes you had to hold the antenna and you couldn't move.
Yes. And you only get certain stations, like a few different stations on there. And we didn't have a lot of money. So it was just like us in a little apartments and things. So I always felt like I needed a male role model, and I didn't have one because my mom was single for most of her life. And so I got started watching The Incredible Hulk, and I got fascinated by Lou Ferrigno and just how dominant and how strong he was, and how, he had this confidence, and like, hey, nobody wanted to make him angry, because if he did, they were going to be in trouble. So I used to actually go around my apartment. I would rip off my shirt. I had a special shirt that I would use just for ripping off and playing The Incredible Hulk. And I would tell my mom not to make me angry. I would turn into the Hulk. And so it kind of blossomed from there. So that was always kind of my forefront. I was thinking like that was what a guy, a dominant guy would look like, is have all these big muscles and things. And so it was always something I wanted. Then I got into He-Man, like later on. I don't know if you remember the He-Man, like the little action figures. Yeah. And so I would, they were these muscle guys. I'd make them fight all the time and put, red, draw a little red for bloody noses and stuff. And then as I got older, and I got a big brother from the Big Brothers program when I was 11 years old, because I didn't have the dad. So my mom said, you need to have a male role model. She got me a big brother. One of the first things that he did was got me a gym membership.
Yeah.
He's like, he could see that I had a lot of potential, but like I needed a little bit of direction and structure and something to put my energy towards. So I fell in love with it. He got me some personal trainer lessons so I can kind of learn the ropes a little bit on getting started. And I fell in love with working out. And then, over time, I started to get into sports. And I think, working out and things really helped me excel in some of the sports that I was in. I got my confidence back because I got bullied a little bit as a kid. And then I kind of, gained more confidence and so forth. And then as I was older, so fast forward to 22, 23 years old, I actually got my first personal trainer job. I was thinking, you know what? I want to help other people develop their physiques too. And so then I started to do personal training and helped out a lot of people in there. And then I did really well. So some of the gyms that I was in, I broke records, and then I got promoted and started to do like corporate gyms. And then I started managing multiple locations. And then before you know it, I continued to develop myself as well. And I started to compete, and I got sponsored by Optum Nutrition, which is the number one sports nutrition supplement company in the world. And during that time, I was competing from 2002 to 2017. That's where I turned pro and so forth through my competitions. But then I really just developed my passion for being able to help people, because I remember myself as being that helpless, skinny kid that I just felt like, man, I felt so helpless. And then now being able to help other people was just kind of a dream come true. So that's how it all came into fruition. And then from there, I got into doing online training about 16 years ago. And now I do business coaching. So I actually help the trainers build their business online.
Okay. So before we go into the business part of this, I just have to know, with the Incredible Hulk being your hero and you turning into this super fit bodybuilder, did you ever go as the Incredible Hulk for Halloween?
You know what? I never did, because I was like, man, I've always been one of the kind of guys. It's like I don't want to walk around with my shirt off and all that kind of stuff, especially it's kind of cold during Halloween. I always figured like, man, maybe I'll get one of those suits that has like the padded muscles or something like that. And people tell me, like, dude, you should be the Incredible Hulk and just paint yourself green. I was like, but no, I never did. So I've been Superman, and I've been Jason quite a few times because of my bald head and stuff, but never the Incredible Hulk. But next year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe someday. Okay, let's talk about how you kind of backed into podcasting. So you didn't start as a podcaster that says, I'm going to build a following and then build a business around a following. You started with a business, and you started as a fitness coach. You did training. You built a coaching business and then helped other people do their coaching businesses. And you've only started doing a podcast in the last year. Am I understanding that right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's first of all understand your business. Will you go deeper into your business? Like, what do you offer in your business? How do you make money? What are the drivers of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened when COVID hit is a lot of in-person personal trainers, they lost their careers, or they had to pivot online, because obviously all the gyms closed down. And so they had to learn how to do online training. Luckily for me, I've been doing it for 16 years. The first 5 years I tried to do it on my own. I struggled. So I had to hire a lot of business coaches to help me get to the place where I'm at today. But what I do now is I help trainers and gym owners as well. I help them, launch, grow, and then scale their business past 6 figures, right? Because that's ultimately the goal where everybody wants to get to, where you can have that financial freedom, where you can still travel, bring your laptop, knock out all your stuff, still get all your work done, be able to spend more time with your family and your friends and so forth. Because that's what I wanted to do as well. I remember when I was managing the gyms and I was competing and I was a sponsored athlete, I was working probably 16 hours a day and I didn't get any rest. And on the weekends, it's like I was doing my online training. The weekdays, I was doing all my gym coaching and all my personal training. And I literally was running my marriage through the ground. And I was like, there has to be a better way. And so finally, I invested some more help into some business coaching. And then before you know it, I was doing pretty well. And financially, I was making more part-time as an online trainer than I was managing, 3+ locations at one time. So then I just went all in on the online training. Now there's a lot to learn with online training, right? Everybody thinks, well, don't you just have to do a social media post? No, you got to have, all of your marketing and your legions. You have to have your leads coming in. That's the lifeline of your business, right? Is your lead flow. Then what you have to do is you have to find a way to convert those leads into clients. So you have to think, hey, you got to have an irresistible offer. You have to have a sales process. right? And then from there, once you have clients, is like, hey, I want to keep those clients happy. How do I get them the best results possible? Is now setting up your whole delivery and the back end system so they stay with you longer, so they get lasting results, so they refer you their friends and you get glowing testimonials. And then from there is like, hey, how do I scale back and automate some of this process so I can free up some more of my time? Now we work on the automation and the CRM and having funnels and different things where you can scale the business. And then finally, you're going to get to a point where it's like, hey, like I'm doing well, but I don't want to be the one person, one-stop shop that's doing everything in my business. I want to be able to leverage my time more effectively. So that's where you're working on bringing the team in-house to take some of the things off your plate that you don't love to do. So maybe you love coaching, and maybe you even enjoy, doing the coaching calls or the enrollment calls, but you're like, man, I don't enjoy doing tech, and I don't enjoy like trying to figure out how to build a funnel, or I don't enjoy going into the DMs and trying to figure out conversations. Well, there's plenty of people that love to do that and that you can get for, pretty low, price as a virtual assistant, and you can train them effectively, and then you can continue to scale the business, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of key pieces that we want to put into place. And then there's also nurturing strategies. There's email marketing, right? There's building a community. So there's a whole plethora of different things that we want to build out to have a thriving business. So that's kind of what we jam on.
So Russell Brunson talks about when you don't know what to do, your answer is who, right? You find the right person who can help you. And it sounds like you've kind of taken that strategy as you built your business. And then when you get to something that may not be your superpower, you bring in someone to help you do that piece of it. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I like all coaches to learn at least the foundational pieces for each step, right? So the first thing that we work on is we get crystal clear on what's called the bullseye avatar, like knowing who you're going to be as far as your target market online, right? Where do we find them? How do we market to them? So that's the first thing. Second thing is building out authority systems so you can be the go-to coach and people know who you are, right? And then we build out your whole social media strategy, your content engine. From there, typically we set up a lead magnet system. So giving out free resources that people say, oh my God, that's the thing that I need to get my result that I've been missing. Now we know that they need a lot more than an ebook to get the result, but it's going to be the first thing where it kind of gets you guys connected together, right? And then you can start to do additional marketing. Then it's building out the offer. How do you separate yourself from all the other coaches out on the market? That's the irresistible offer framework that makes it a no-brainer. And then from there, it's building out the sales process and how we're going into the signature program, systems automation, and then what's called the hypergrowth stage. And that's the team. So yeah, there's a lot of key pieces, but I do like everybody to learn the foundations because then you can create your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and how your business runs effectively. And that way, if anybody ever leaves, your business doesn't break. You know how to step in and fix it if you have to, even for a couple of weeks until you get somebody else trained and replaced.
Okay, Tobias, I know that you've built your business around helping coaches build 6 and 7 figure businesses. Do you have a model or a framework that you take your coaches through?
Yeah, it's called the 9X Ascend method. And there's 9 simple steps of a framework that actually are not simple because then obviously implementing them. So let's go through each one step by step.
Yes, please.
So the first thing is called the bullseye avatar. So online, it's a lot different than in person. In person, you can train a lot of different types of clients, right? You can train weight loss, you can train muscle gain, you can train old people, young people, and so forth. When it comes to online, you have to get crystal clear with who you want to be able to help and what is the big problem that they feel like they need help with. If you try to market towards multiple people, what's going to happen is you're going to turn everybody away. So let me give you a quick example, right? Let's just say you're like, man, I want to target those women who just had a baby and want to lose that baby weight. Great niche, by the way. But let's just say your other thing is I also want to help guys get, ripped and look good for the stage and get big biceps and 6 packs. So let me target both of those things. I'm going to give you an example on why that's a bad idea. So you're saying, hey, ladies, you want to lose that baby weight, tone up the tummy after having a baby, and then maybe, tone up your butt a little bit. Here's my process and here's my steps on how you can do that. Okay, boom. Now you're going to attract them. But now your next post, you're saying, and guys, do you want to have ripped biceps? Do you want to get, hardcore abs and get rock hard chiseled? Now, what do you think that lady who just had a baby, who's self-conscious about her body is thinking about when she sees you? She's going to freak out. She's gonna be like, no, that is not what I want.
You're going to turn off one of the two when you do the post targeting the other one.
Yeah, and you're gonna turn off both of them because then when the guy sees you talking about toning up your butt and losing the baby belly and all that, he's gonna be like, oh, I don't know. Like, I want to get ripped. I don't want to worry about losing, or toning up my butt. And so you're literally going to push everybody away when you think you're targeting more people. And the more times that you go into all these different niches, the more you push people away. Where on the flip side, if you focus on one type of person and helping them solve one big problem that they can't solve themselves, and you show that you have the bridge, which is the solution to their big problem, now you are going to be the go-to coach that's going to be top of mind. Okay, that's number one.
Okay, let me restate that. Let me make sure I'm understanding. So step number one in your framework is identify your niche, find one target audience within your niche, and find the big problem that person in that target audience is facing, and build your business around solving that problem. Is that right?
Exactly. Yep. That's it. The second thing that we want to do is we want to amplify your authority with those people. Okay. It's called the authority amplifier. So there's going to be 3 different ways that you can provide more authority. Okay. Which is actually nurturing your audience, right? So one is going to be through your social media content, where you're specifically giving content frameworks, showing that you helped other people all through social media. So when those people see you, it's going to nurture them. Okay. The second way is when you have lead magnets, like we talked about before, resources, then they're going to download that. Now you're going to have them on your email list. And if you're continuously giving them value through email, now they're going to see you as that go-to coach. And the third and final way is to build a community. So this could be a Facebook group. This could be a school group. This could be a community. And if you are consistently giving them value, giving them free resources, going live every single week, then when they are ready to hire a coach, who do you think they're going to want to work with? It's going to be you, because you've been giving so much value. So that's the authority builder process. The third is going to be building out your social media strategy to convert, right? So the content is the big top of the funnel piece that builds everything. It all starts from there. So there's the 5 C's that we'll kind of jam into. There's content. Content is going to drive more connections, which are friends, followers, and so forth, targeted for you. From those connections, now you're going to be able to have conversations. From conversations, you're going to be able to book calls with people who want to take that next step and find out more and getting help. And from conversations, or from calls being booked, you're going to be able to have conversions, right? So it's a simple process. So it's going to be like a 5C funnel. So that's the social media content framework. Number 4 is the lead magnet system. So lead magnets are, like we were talking about, are going to be free resources which help your ideal clients solve their big problem, but it's just going to be a small piece. It's not going to give them everything.
So it could be an ebook. It could be a little mini course video. It could be a webinar. It could be a cheat sheet or a checklist downloadable, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That's it. Because they're like, oh my God, this is the ebook, like how to lose your first 10 pounds after having a baby. And they're going to be like, oh yeah. But hey, we all know that people need a lot more than an ebook to get results. Otherwise, everybody would be, fit, right? So they need motivation, they need accountability, they need structure, they need knowledge, they need programming, and that's why they need you. Okay. But the lead magnet is going to be the first thing that connects you two together.
And then build your authority. They trust you more.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the lead magnet system.
And when you give that away for free, not only do they build trust in you, but you get them onto your list. You suck them from these other platforms like Facebook and YouTube, and you get them onto your list where you own the contact information. You have permission to market to them. And that list becomes one of your greatest assets in this kind of a business.
Absolutely. Because then when you're running challenges or whatever, you can use your list to be able to send them to the other things. Or you can film a great video on YouTube and you're like, hey, check out my YouTube channel. Or you can say, hey, check out my podcast. I just filmed a podcast on XYZ topic. And so then you can get them all over the place, and then you can be omnipresent. Yeah. So that's the ticket, right? Next, number 5 is going to be to create an irresistible offer. So if you don't show how you're different from every other coach, you are a commodity, which means that you're commoditized. Like you don't distinguish yourself. So the only thing that the consumer can differentiate you is price. So then you have to go cheaper. And that is a one-way ticket towards bad clients, headaches, and not making any money, right? On the flip side, if you show how you have a unique solution that has a step-by-step process and how you get them from where they're at now to where they want to be, and you show that you do it better than everybody else, now you are going to have an offer that will convert. Then the sixth piece is going to be your enrollment mastery. So this is the whole sales process phase. So this is learning how to pre-qualify. This is how to use the MIST framework, the different objection handling, right? If you use your sales process, you're going to be able to overcome all the objections by asking the right questions before it even comes to the actual objection. So there's a way to be able to do this, and then you're going to be able to convert higher paying clients. Step 7 is going to be to build out your signature program. Okay. So it's not just workouts. It's not just a menu plan. This is building out lifestyle components that will get your clients the best results possible. So you have to help them on, things like water, getting their steps in, their protein intake, their sleep. So all the other things that they do in the other 23 hours of the day. Because if you can get them amazing results, now they're going to stay with you longer. So you have a longer lifetime value. They're going to refer you more clients. They're going to be able to give you glowing testimonials, and then your business is going to snowball.
I know that you're a fitness coach, but these are very solid business strategies that would work across any industry.
Yeah. You don't have to be a fitness coach. Like, you just have to have, a framework that you want to be able to sell, or an ideal type of client. And this will work for that as well. That's why I wrote the book on the online success blueprint, which you can check out on Amazon. All right. So step number 8 is going to be creating your systems and automation. This is where you're going to want to have a CRM. This is where you're going to want to have email marketing. This is where you're going to want to have funnels, which do all the heavy lifting for you. You don't want to be manually trying to do everything from scratch with all of your tech and everything. It's going to be one of those things that will drag you down. It'll be a headache for you. Whereas if you have a system in place, especially a CRM like FitPro Solution, then it'll take all that legwork off for you as well. Okay. And then step 9 is to build a team underneath you that can help you with the things that you don't necessarily love to do. So that way you can enjoy your business like no other. When you wake up every single morning, loving what you do, loving the type of clients you work with, and having a great team that actually does all the stuff that you don't like to do, now you have a business that you love and that you're going to be able to scale. So that, in a nutshell, is the 9X Ascend method.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. If you had to start all over again, if you lost everything that you had right now, all of your net worth, maybe there's some big lawsuit that got filed against you, and you had this big judgment and you had to start from scratch, and you couldn't do it in the fitness industry. Okay. You had to create something new from scratch. What would you do?
Well, would I still be able to be in the coaching industry?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
then
fitness. It could be anything besides fitness.
Yeah. Then I would help coaches actually scale their businesses in there, because you can literally take the same framework with any type of a niche, as long as you can like really dial in what the big problem is that particular type of person has. And then you create a step-by-step solution, and then you're going to be the go-to person to be able to help them out. So I'd help coaches scale their business.
Today's episode of Podcasting Secrets is brought to you by Pod Allies, the done-for-you podcasting services solution. When I speak with CEOs about their podcast, one of the most common comments that I hear is that they know they need a podcast, but they don't have time. Have you ever wondered how some businesses find a way to still run their podcasts while juggling their crazy day-to-day operations? The secret might be simpler than you think. Let me introduce you to Pod Allies. This is a service that's changed the game for businesses in the podcasting world. Pod Allies is a done-for-you podcast production and marketing service. They understand that while many businesses understand the immense value podcasting can have for their business, finding time to produce, syndicate, promote, and monetize a show can be challenging. Pod Allies offers a dedicated team to handle virtually all aspects of your podcast production. From strategy and branding to audio and video editing and guest scheduling, they've got you covered. They even take care of creating blog posts, transcripts, and syndicating your content across multiple platforms. What sets Pod Allies apart is their use of PodUp, their proprietary podcasting software suite. This allows them to streamline the entire podcasting process, saving you time, effort, and a bunch of money. If you're ready to become a thought leader, connect with your audience, and grow your business through podcasting without all of the investment of time and cost of doing it yourself, Pod Allies might be the perfect solution for you. To learn more or to schedule a free consultation with a podcast expert, visit podallies.com. That's podallies.com. Now back to the show. And even though you lost all your money, you'd still have this track record of success that you had, and all of these testimonials of coaches that have been successful with you, and you could kind of leverage that can never be taken away from you.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you've built this amazingly successful business. You've helped a lot of other people be successful. You made a transition at one point where there was a point where you were a fitness coach, and then you switched to teaching business coaches. Instead of teaching people how to be fit, you taught coaches how to teach people how to be fit. It's kind of like in the gold rush, there were people who made money mining, and then there were people who made a lot more money selling axes and shovels and things to the miners. And there's people that made money in real estate, but then they learned they make a lot more money teaching people how to make money in real estate than they do in real estate itself. Tell me about that shift that you made and how that has impacted your career.
Yeah, this actually happened January 2020. So during my time managing gyms, I used to manage multiple gyms, and then I had another friend, his name was Van, that he managed multiple gyms as well. And I actually connected with him on Facebook. And I was a fitness coach to the T, right? And I didn't want to change. I didn't want to switch anything. I didn't want to do anything else because I loved being a fitness coach. And he's like, hey, Tobias, dude, it's great to connect with you. Hey, by the way, now I'm doing business coaching and I'm helping these trainers build their business online. I would love to have you come in and do a workshop on some of the things that have made you successful. Would you be open to that? I said, dude, I would love to. Like, bring me in. That's great. And so he already had the whole kind of community set up and already clients in place. And I came in and I gave them some strategies, and they were like, I want more Tobias. So like, bring them back in. And so he was like, hey, will you come back again? And I was like, sure, I'll come back in. And later he's like, man, dude, we gotta go in on this together, dude. Like you've built something out that like I don't have. And I said, at first I was like, man, you know what? I'm not really interested in that. I just love doing the fitness coaching. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready for that next step. I've been doing this for so long. Like I think I'm ready. And so I did both for a little bit of time. So we partnered up, we created TNT Fit Pro Coaching. So the TNT stands for Tobias and Van Taylor. Taylor was his last name. And then we created the Fit Pro Coaching after it. And then, man, I fell in love with it. Like this was something I put my heart, my soul into, and I started to really help these coaches grow and scale super fast. He kind of got into some other stuff. He got into crypto and doing some other stuff. So I ended up buying him out completely because this was my jam. So I bought him out. It was just 100% me. And then that's where TNT Fit Pro Coaching got started.
Okay. And how has that been for you? Like, how has that changed your earning potential to have made that shift?
Yeah, the earning potential is definitely much better as a business coach. But I think I was ready for it mentally, even though I didn't realize that I was ready for it because I'd just been in fitness coaching for so long and managing gyms. But the more I got into it, it was like, man, this is powerful. And then it's kind of like an umbrella effect. Because if I can help one coach and the coach has 50 clients, now I'm helping 50 clients through him, other coaches. And if I help 50 coaches, now I'm helping 50 times 50, right? So it's like the compound effect that's going on. So one, I get that gratefulness coming from being able to coach them and have the umbrella effect, but also financially, like you were saying, yeah, it's not even close. As a business coach, you can charge a lot more than doing traditional fitness coaching. So yes, that's definitely helped me out financially.
Yeah. Okay. And then a year ago, you decided to make this jump into podcasting. Can you tell us why you made that decision and what that's kind of looked like for you in your?
Yeah. So one thing I've always thought about is like, man, you got to get so much content out, right? To really, really be able to stand out. It's one of the key pieces that, obviously I practice what I preach. So I was like, hey, I want to be able to build this out. And I was thinking, man, it would be fun to have a podcast where I actually help these coaches. And then what I can do is I can chop up some of the podcasts and I can use those as, reels, as stories, as little mini trainings and give them to my coaches in there. But then more than anything, then I can invite other people to jump on and we can share each other's audience. So the fastest way to grow your audience is not you trying to do it all yourself, is to share, right? And to share each other's audiences, to borrow other people's audience as well. So for example, if somebody has a complementary audience that's slightly different, like you can give value to them where they can have something complementary where they're able to give out. And then I can, obviously receive, the same from there. So it's like helping grow the business. And then I'm also helping other businesses grow their business at the same time by sharing my audience with them. So it's one of those things that's been fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously grow your YouTube channel with it. You can grow your podcast. You can build more authority because, man, I can't tell you how many people have been like, man, I've seen your podcast, dude. I really resonate with your energy and your vibe. I was like, cool. Yeah. So it's definitely helped me enroll more clients.
Okay. So number one, you talked about the power of repurposing, right? Create one episode, cut it up into 5 or 6 or 8 different pieces of content, put it out on a bunch of channels. It just helps you get lots of content out there by starting with that one video episode. Number two, you talked about the power of trading. Most business owners, almost every single business owner I've ever spoken to wants to get on more podcasts. They want more influencers promoting them. And what they don't realize, or they realize once they become a podcaster, is the secret to getting on more shows is to have your own show, because people that have shows and are influencers, they want other influencers on their shows because they can do exactly what you're talking about here and they can trade, right? And so if you want to be on other shows, have a show. And if you have a great show, it's easy to go get on 100 shows a year. You just trade and you invite those people on your show and you go on their shows. And when I have this show about podcasting secrets, and I ask people, what is your number one secret to growing your show? And these are people that have very successfully grown reach and following. And almost 100% of them, they all say getting on other shows, right? And so it's this self-fulfilling prophecy. You get a show, then you can get on other shows, and then it grows your show and it grows your business. And that cycle, that virtuous cycle, just grows really well. Talk to me about the guests that you invite on the show. I would guess that in your space that you can drive a lot of revenue by inviting the right guests on your show. Are you seeing that?
Yeah. And I love it too, because I love just jamming with people, on business topics or on fitness topics or anything in there too. Great thing about having a fitness business podcast is there's so many directions that you can go. So you can have a lot of different types of guests, right? What are things that fitness coaches are going to want help with? Well, podcast could be one of them, right? People want to have a podcast. So it doesn't necessarily mean you need to have other fitness business coaches. Like you can have people that run podcasts. You can have people that run, create funnels. You can have, people that are really good on social media or Instagram or TikTok or lead gen, or like, there's just so many cool things. Or it can be another fitness coach that did some great things and you want to be able to motivate the other fitness coaches. So literally there's just like hundreds of different ideas that you can get by having other types of guests in. So I've been able to capitalize on that and have a good time with that as well.
What's your best episode you've ever done on your show so far? Your favorite?
Oh man, I have so many. I have, I have a friend, Brendan Myers. He's really, really cool. He's the owner of My Coach AI, which is a fitness training app. He also has a really, really big following as well. And so we jammed in there and he gave some tremendous value. Jason Phillips, he's the owner of NCI, Nutritional Coaching Institute. So he was on there. It was great. Anthony Trucks is another, like a lot of these people are just like personal friends of mine too from the industry. He does Speak to Freedom. He speaks, he gets paid like $35,000 a keynote to speak to Amazon and Best Buy and all these key things. He has an amazing backstory as well. Wendy Fortino, she's an IFBB pro. She's been on the Olympia stage multiple times. So she was fun. Like I've just had so many great guests, like in all these different areas.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things is I get to learn from people like you, and it feels like I'm getting an MBA within my niche. I'm being able to learn from these industry leaders, people that I'd have to pay you a fortune for an hour of your time to consult me. And I am able to get you on the show. And as you're sharing value with my audience, I'm able to learn from that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that too. That's one of the things that I get because I'm always learning. I love learning. It's one of my things. And, I think the one key piece that I wish, remember how you're asking like, hey, if you could start all over again, I would say, hey, if we were to rewind the time and I didn't have my knowledge now, the one thing that I would do differently is I would have hired a business coach earlier on in the process. I tried to do it my own for 5 years and I struggled and I made some progress and I did okay. But as soon as I started hiring some very high level business coaches, that's when my business really took off. So I would have just done that earlier in the process. And I tell everybody, like, if you want to learn a particular type of skill or talent, like, hire somebody who's an expert and who's already built out the whole frameworks and can help you do that 100 times faster than you trying to like research everything yourself. Cause then you're going to make all different types of trial and error.
It help you avoid a lot of those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's one of the biggest challenges you faced in your podcast journey, and how'd you get through it?
Oh man, biggest challenge. I guess it's just getting more eyeballs on there, but I haven't really run, thank goodness, into very many challenges in there too. I have a tech team that can help out with video editing and, getting my podcast out for me and doing some cool things, which is always good. Like, that's why it's so important to have a team in place. Other challenges. Sometimes I'm super busy. So if I don't have time, I try to do an episode every single Thursday. So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, my days are just insane. Where am I going to get time to fill in for a podcast, or maybe like, connect with somebody else and bring somebody else on? That would be maybe something, is just like making sure I have the time to put in for it.
That's right. And getting the right people to help you so it doesn't take as much of your time.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about growth strategy. What's been one of the most effective things you've done to help grow your reach and following on your show?
On my show, I would say, on the podcast you're talking about, right? I would say creating reels from the podcast and then doing collaboration posts with those other people that have really big followings. Because then you do a collaboration post, and if you normally get X amount of views and they normally get Y amount of views, and then you collaborate and now you have Z amount of views together, right? So then you're getting a whole new set of eyes. Because I mean, how many of us sometimes we're like, man, it's like the same people that are commenting, on our stuff, and you always get new people and new likes and stuff. But like, if you can compound that with like one post just by doing a collaboration, and it's going to help both of you guys out too. Like, that's one of the biggest strategies that I've noticed, is just like right off the
collaboration post. That's a really good idea. Okay. Tell me about monetization strategies. What's been one of the best ways you've been able to monetize so far? And what's one of the future ways that you would like to monetize your show?
Yeah, continuing. One of the things that's been best is I have appointment setters, and so they do an amazing job. So it's not me manually having to go in there and do all the outreach and so forth. I've had appointment setters now for probably 10 years, for a long time. So this dates back to when I was doing fitness coaching, maybe even longer. But now that they're trained and they're really well, like all the people that are interacting on all of my posts, they're able to reach out to and start conversations with. And, there's so many people that when you have conversations, they're naturally going to want to get help. And there's always going to be those people that are fine, that don't. And you can't take that personal. Like, there's so many people that are like, well, what if, I don't want to feel like I'm bothering somebody. But this is your warm audience. These are people that are already interacting in your content. So a lot of times they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually reaching out to me. That's cool. Like, they think it's cool that you're reaching out to them. Right. So that's been probably the best organic strategy that I've had, is like just having appointment setters in there and just mixing it up with all the people interacting in the content. The things that
a little bit more about that really quick. For those of us that aren't familiar with the appointment setter strategy, what is it you have them do, and who do you get to do that?
Yeah. So there's different places where you can hire a virtual assistant. So like you can outsource them from overseas. You can get them, internally from the US if you want. You can go to a place like onlinejobs.ph and get like Filipino VAs that are very good for very reasonable pricing. And there's, different ways you can go about it. And then it's actually creating SOPs for what you normally do. So from your content that you put out, your whole goal is to draw more connections and more people that are in your ideal client niche, right? And then from those people that are your ideal clients, is like, hey, start interacting with their content, like and comment on their posts, have a quick little conversation, especially if you have a community like a Facebook group. You invite them into your Facebook group. Just give value. Like, don't try to sell everybody. Just go in there and start conversation. So one of the great things that happens when two people are having a conversation on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, like the social media platform says, hey, these two people know each other. They're going back and forth in a conversation. Let's start to show their posts to each other. So now your reach starts to expand as well. So your content starts to show more and more to these people that you're interacting with. And now it's going to build that authority as well. So the whole key is to give them value over time, like nurture them, how we were talking about with your social media content. And then you can always talk to them about like some of the struggles that they're facing, right? So if you're a fitness coach and you're reaching out to some of the people that are interacting on your content, and maybe you target busy dads that are looking to lose the dad bod, and you see, oh my God, this guy looks like he might be somebody that would be ideal client. Reach out, say hi to him. See, obviously you can draw something in from what they're posting as well, so you can be relatable. So it's not just like, hey, you don't want to be generic. You don't want to sound like it's a VA. You want to go in there and be collaborative. Like if you see them hiking or something, you'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Where did you go? How many steps did you get in? And then you can kind of go from there. But there's a lot of different ways that you can start the conversation. But ideally, you want to go back and forth, and you want to find like some of the things that they're dealing with. What are some of their goals? What are some of their aspirations? You can ask them what they do, and you can say, oh, by the way, I'm a trainer and I help this type of person too. If you ever need help with anything, then let me know. Invite them into your group, build more value, have challenges, do workshops, like you can do scholarship opportunities too, where you're giving away, a free scholarship. Like I can go on and on forever on a lot of different types of lead gen strategies that you can do. But then ultimately, it may not be the first time. It may not even be the second time, but maybe the third time you have a conversation with this person, they remember you, and now they want to get some help. So now they're going to be much more inclined to actually take that next step, book a call with you, find out more about what your program entails. And then from there, you can obviously let the cards fall where they may.
I love it. Tobias, thank you for sharing this. I've never, in all my years of doing business, I've never used appointment setters like that. And I sure should. That is a brilliant strategy. And I'm very grateful you shared that. If our audience has enjoyed this like I had, and they want to learn more about you and your business and your services, what are some of the ways that they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, tntfitprocoaching.com. We can schedule a call. We can jam, tell me about that you were on this podcast, and we can kind of go more in depth in there. And I would love to just go over anything that you need help with. You can also follow me on Instagram at Tobias Young, the number 1, LinkedIn, Tobias Young. So I would love to jam with you. And if you got value from this episode, let me know. Would love to connect.
And did you have a lead magnet that you wanted to share?
I do. Yes. So it is inside. It's TNT Fit. Yeah. I mean, it's a long URL. So
we will put a link to it in the YouTube video, in the comments below. We'll put it in the blog post. We'll try to put it wherever we can in the different posts, so you can easily find that.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah. It's a blueprint on how to make 10K in 90 days. And I also have the book. It's called The Online Success Blueprint, and that you can get on Amazon as well. So if you just want to get straight to it, I have it for free on Kindle. So if you want to get the Kindle version on Amazon, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. Or if you want to get the soft cover, it's only $9.99.
Thank you for sharing that with everybody. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
And here are my key takeaways from this episode. Number 1, niche down ruthlessly to one target audience solving one specific problem. Multiple audiences push everyone away. Number 2, authority comes from 3 sources: social media content, email marketing through lead magnets, and active community engagement. Number 3, repurpose one podcast episode into reels, stories, and mini trainings to maximize content output without extra recording time. Number 4, guest swapping is the fastest audience growth strategy. Trade appearances to borrow established audiences instead of building from scratch. Number 5, collaboration posts on social media compound reach by combining both audiences into one post with massive exposure. Number 6, appointment setters handle all outreach conversations with engaged followers, converting warm audiences into booked calls systematically. Number 7, start conversations before selling. Virtual assistants can interact with content engagers and build relationships that convert later. Number 8, lead magnets pull audiences from rented platforms onto your own email list, creating assets you control permanently. Number 9, hire business coaches early to compress your learning timeline. 5 years of struggle disappears with the right mentor. Number 10, create irresistible offers that distinguish you from commoditized competitors charging bottom dollar prices. Number 11, Build signature programs addressing lifestyle components beyond the core service to increase client results and retention. And finally, number 12, podcast guests should serve your niche specifically. Complementary audiences expand reach while maintaining relevance to your core listeners. If you're looking for an amazing all-in-one podcasting platform with more than 60 integrated tools, you can get a free trial at podup.com along with a podcast launch course for free. Thanks for joining us for this episode, and we wish you success in turning your passion into profit through podcast monetization.